Well, guess what, everybody? It's time. We got to bring on the man, the myth, the legend. Why don't you go ahead and put us back in the gallery mode there,
Yes, sir.
Stefan? Let's
All
bring
right.
up Tony Koehl.
Welcome, Tony Koehl, everybody. Yay!
Yay!
Did you
Hello,
bring us into the
everybody.
film
Yay!
room?
Hello.
There
Honored to
he
be a
is.
part of this, you guys.
Just takes
Thank
a
you
little while.
again.
Oh, yes.
This will
welcome,
work.
welcome,
Oh.
welcome.
Cool. Can you hear me? Everything go fine?
Oh,
Levels, everything okay?
Is he there?
Oh, yes.
There we go.
I think so. Okay, cool.
Uh-oh.
Cool,
I'm
man.
having trouble on my end here.
Oh, well, it was very interesting to listen to you guys talk about
Oh, boy.
skincare.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you and see you.
Yeah, I want to know who tried out all that bull semen to figure out if it worked or not.
Right?
Like, who are these people? They getting to do this? Like, so what's up,
Sure
Sergio?
does. Hello.
That's cool, man. That it comes up.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Hey.
right. Oh, there we go.
What's up, Lauren?
That's
It's been
weird.
a minute.
Maybe this has a glitch also using Chrome. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got. I'm using Chrome right now at the moment. Seems to be doing okay.
It seems to be okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm let's introduce him, Stefan.
Oh, yes, this is a good longtime friend back when I performed in a band called Enthraller in Southern California and became really good friends with Tony Koehl here.
Yeah.
He did 2 of our album covers, and we became really good friends.
Yeah.
And,
And logo and your layouts and
yes,
t-shirt
logo
designs.
layouts and t-shirt
Yeah.
designs. Yes, and we're going to be working with him on the Thearpy of the absurd stuff as well to get some really cool stuff done.
Yeah.
So,
and at one time videotaping you guys. I think you guys should have that. It was at the Holy Gully. You and Jacob with Gatekeeper. And then I think I got Odious Mortem when they first played through and Decrepit Birth.
Oh.
It wasn't Odious Mortem. It was Carnivorous.
Oh, okay.
Wait, did you say Gatekeeper?
Gatekeeper, yeah, Jacob.
Oh, yeah. I did that. 2 of their albums too.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the poor lady don't even know. Yeah, like there's a whole, especially like in the early 2000s, is when kind of like a resurgence of Southern California metal kind of came around. There was a lot more vendors or venues to play. They had Chris and Vlad from
Benighted Entity.
Benighted Entities. Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
We did that double split with those guys too.
Yeah,
it was a cool time, man. In metal, it was. We had a lot of shows going on.
That was our first thing that we were on. It was at the Benighted Entity compilation.
Yeah.
With Abysmal Dawn, who right now is doing amazingly well.
Yeah, for sure.
Killing it. I'd love to get Charles on here actually someday.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, are you ladies into metal music?
How did you get into movie business?
Into the movie business?
I got questions too.
Yeah. What you got?
To answer your question though, no, I'm not into metal, but your art is absolutely amazing. I will say that. Like I love what I'm seeing. And out confession session, my son is just graduated high school, accepted to Otis of College of Art and Design.
Oh, that's wonderful.
He's very much into manga and to anime, but he's just, he's great at like life drawing and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like looking at your work, just like how amazing. And then he's got a bestie that's a musician and is selling cassettes like across the world.
That's great.
Because cassettes are back, but he's like getting artwork and like, so I'm seeing what I learned once I saw your work. I said, oh, you are a huge influence because this kid is 18, my son's friend. And like the art that he's getting from like folks on Fiverr reminds me of some of the things that I'm seeing in your work. So, and he's not a death metal musician. He's just a young cat, kind of like alternative and doing his thing. But like clearly your influence is all around here, just looking at what this, what again, the art that he's bringing into his work. So it's exciting stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah. I try to diversify it much as I can. Primarily I got into doing metal artwork specifically. It's, being an artist is very difficult. And I always feel like you need like a niche. and I was always into the metal. I've always been into metal for a very long time since I was real little. And then as I was growing older and buying albums, and I was picking up their albums, and I'm like, oh, my artwork is I can either comparable, if not better, on some of these covers I was getting. Obviously, not all of them, but some of the ones. It was just giving me the confidence to like start hitting up bands. And it was during the era of MySpace. That's when I was working for Trader Joe's at the time, doing murals and stuff. When MySpace kind of kicked off, I just used that as kind of my platform to just go be an illustrator full time.
Yeah,
and then
Nice.
like MySpace, it's just like Facebook, except without the racism and conspiracy theories.
Oh man, MySpace is 1,000 times better than Facebook. Facebook,
Yes, it is.
I'm just not a fan. It's it actually hurt my business more so than propelled my business, like MySpace did. But to answer your questions, doing the movies, I went to Academy of Arts for like a semester and a half in San Francisco, and then when I got up there, I realized. No disrespect to the school, but it just seemed it wasn't right for me. And so when I came back, I went to Comic-Con that year, and then I had postcards, and so I had just one page on my internet or on my website, and so I gave an old instructor, Ron Brown, that used to be a figure drawing instructor of mine, a phenomenal artist, and I let him know, hey, I finally got a website up. And then he was working at a studios in Burbank, and they were doing Pirates of the Caribbean at the time. And so they called me up to do that. And then I did that. I did a couple of little Van Helsing right after that. And then Charmed. And then I got kind of dropped from that project. And then I did a bunch of smaller horror independent films. And so, but my thing is I've always enjoyed the music culture, and I've always, the way I viewed it is that I could work for the movies, but then nobody will know who my name is. And so if I can just work with bands, a community and culture that I've been a part of my entire life, it'd be kind of like a big, the 15-year-old in me be super excited, which it is. So yeah, after hundreds of albums, I've done layouts, poster designs. I went last year to Switzerland for the first time to do live art at a death metal festival out there, which I was very honored to be a part of. And then I have, as soon as the world opens up again, I have Colombia. There's a metal festival going on in Colombia I'd like to attend to. Definitely go back to Europe. There's a couple places there. I want to hit up Nice to Eat You, or not? Is it Nice to Eat You? Yeah, it is nice. I think there's I want to say, I know Nice to Eat You Records, but there's
Nice
a
to meet you
festival.
too.
Yeah, there's another festival like a week prior to Rock the Hell. So I wanted to kind of like maybe go out there maybe a week early, hit that place up, and then maybe spend a couple more days. See if I can just do a tour. I like just do a tour, just to hit up a bunch of weird, obscene places and galleries, and maybe find a band I can go tour with, and just see a little more of Europe, because it was incredible. It's too short for sure. So
you like weird stuff?
What's that?
You like weird stuff, like oddities and all that?
Yeah, my dad's a taxidermist. So growing up, I was surrounded by a bunch of dead animals. And so, and then I was really into horror films. And I'm a product of the 80s, this kid of the 80s. So we had amazing movies, like Star Wars just coming out. Right. And then, all the Jim Henson films from Legend, Dark Crystal, stuff like that, just really inspired me. And then all the cool cartoons at that time. But yeah, I'm definitely into very, I guess odd. To me, they're fascinating, but to other people, it would be odd. But yeah, I like the different things, like darker stuff, But I try to be a fan of everything, Don't want to be pigeonholed in one thing. I like majority of everything.
Right. There's such a wide range of themes in your work, though. For me, as someone who's like not into death metal, never been into any type of metal, like I would look at your work though, like just because you have so much light and like so much beauty, as well as as to me, you make skulls attractive. Like if there was ever a case for me even considering listening to the music, you've done it here, because like I'm like, okay, well, if that guy is someone who's, this is a root cause of what he does, then maybe there's something in this that I'm missing, or that I've certainly overlooked. And I'll say it just, out of sheer funny, like, it was, as growing up in the South in the 80s, I was very much, influenced by the pop side of the 80s, but there was only a certain type of African American that was into like heavy metal. And it was like those kids over there, like the rest of us were all like Earth, Wind and Fire and Kool and the Gang, whatever.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
It is. But I'm just saying your work is, again, just amazing.
Yeah, those kids over there were hanging out with me.
Right. They were. They were.
Hey, let's look at some Tony's stuff here. Hey, check it out. So let's take a close look on this Get Hooked. Now, what brought this about?
So that's a cover for my band. My band just finally finished up. We had our album done. So I just got the thank yous and the final credits about a week ago. So Saturday, I'm going to then do the layout for everything. And so I'm very excited about that. This has been on my bucket list for many, many years. And so what I like to do, I still collect CDs. I like to go to thrift stores and I dig through the CD collections are only like $1. And so anything I find interesting, I go to YouTube and listen to it. And then for like 30 seconds, if I like it, then I'll buy the album. So to me, I found some gold. I found some amazing bands and DJs and stuff and hip hop artists and whatnot, and indie rock. I mean, all sorts of genres, from funk, from metal, from everything. So the album itself, like, I feel like if anyone was to ever stumble upon this album, I think it'd be a rare treasure, because we put a lot of heart and soul into it. I feel like it's definitely our sound, and I learned how to play drums in 2007 to do this. Like, I'm late in life with playing instrument, but I learned how to play drums to be on this album.
It's never too late, man.
Definitely never too late.
No matter how old you are.
No, I do have to say, I like your tasteful semi-hiding of the nipples here. You've done it very well.
Yeah,
you've done that very well.
Yeah. I've had a lot of practice in it. A lot of practice. Yeah, and this is done in watercolors. I rarely ever get to do traditional mediums, working with clients, because clients always are constantly changing their mind on stuff, or they want things changed or altered or manipulated or whatever. So majority of my work I do in Photoshop, but if I could do stuff for myself, which sadly is very rare, I like to do traditional mediums.
You know what you said about artists. Tell me about it. We'll talk about Stefan later.
I'm obsessed with the vinyl and the photographs, just because I grew up on like just all kind of, like we had the big old kind of stereo in the and just Roberta Flack, and my dad loved James Brown.
I love James Brown. Same.
And so we just with all those Polydor records, and I also grew up very much into the album artwork, because that was our only medium. Obviously now it's like this kind of collector's thing, but I'm just looking at, you've got vinyl in this art, and it's just, again, amazing.
Yeah. So eventually, after the CDs sell, if they do sell, hope they sell, I'm taking that money and then reinvesting it and then having a vinyl, because that's part of my bucket list.
And I also think it would diminish the beauty of the art if you tried to have her like getting music from online in this.
Right.
Yeah. Well, my thing with, so I have a lot of music. I've collected music for pretty much my entire life, and I've downloaded a bunch of music. But to me, the physical CD, a lot of times I forget I have certain albums until I walk by like the CD stack, and I'm like, oh yeah, this album's great. And you pull it out, and I like the ritual of it. I like popping out the CD, putting in the case, letting it read, and then just push play, and you have like at least an hour where I have to go get back up and change it again. It helps me, especially because I'm always sitting down drawing, or I do work with leather as well. I was hitting that pretty hard last year. It allows me every hour to get up, stretch, rest my eyes, do something a little different, like get something to eat, go to the restroom, and then I know if I can listen to like 8 to 9 albums, and that'd be like it's almost like a counter of my day of work.
Wow.
That's how I kind of utilize it, because it's too hard if it just streams. And a lot of times I don't even listen to my music that I have. I go to like SoundCloud or I go to YouTube. I'm really big right now into Witch House. So I've been going to YouTube and checking out a bunch of Witch House. My buddy Tom Denny turned me on to it a few months back, and I love it. It's really dark and ambient, and it's great background noise or music to work by. Yeah. So that's that cover.
That's very nice.
Yeah. Each one of these things have a story. That's for sure.
Wow.
Well,
That's
I'm
cool that you're doing
I'm
that.
gonna pick one at random here.
Yeah.
I think we want to talk about this Cenobite or something right here, right?
Wow.
Oh, that one. Yeah. That's actually from a sketch. So I had a series. I was involved with somebody, and it didn't work out, and so my poor little heart got broken, and I was very sad for like a long time. And so every morning, what I would do, it'd be a bit called a morning sketch. And so for like an hour, I would just kind of work out. You have your heart broken. It's a really tough situation to go through, because you have friends and family that try to help you, but only you are processing your emotions. And safely for me to do it was just draw, do what I do best. And then this was a piece that was a part of, I think I did 67 sketches, a little more here and there, but a lot of people like this one. And I'm like, let me just spend a couple more hours on it and render it up to this part. And once again, it's not a real finished rendering. This is just something squeezing in between projects, because this is a personal project. So every time I have a personal project, I kind of have to squeeze them into paid gigs. So some of them don't come out as nice as I would like, but it's really about the it's about the idea more so than like the rendering aspect to it.
And it's clear that his heart was ripped out, man.
Oh man, yeah, absolutely. And stomped on and then burnt and then grinded up and then blown to the wind.
That must be the rest of the series, right?
There's a whole, and then there's more over time that will be, because some of them. An interesting thing about me going through that process is that it opened up very interesting dialects and conversations with other friends and people that were going through the same experience, which obviously I didn't know, and a lot of people don't share it obviously publicly. But I was having a hard time with it, and I don't mind. I mean, I've been sharing my art, part of my soul anyway, so I've been doing this for a long time, so I didn't really mind exposing myself to everybody, and it was a lot of very positive feedback to it. And so there's a few pieces that I'd actually like to render just for some of those individuals, because I think each one of us has gone through a heartbreak at some point, either if it's a family member or a loved one or like a best friend, or a lot of times you have friends that you're not friends anymore, and that feels like a death as well.
Or you bought tickets for the concert mostly for the opening act, and you got there late.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah, I've done that a few times. That's heartbreaking. Yeah.
I've seen Ozzy so much. I was coming for Sepultura.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. That's actually, I want to go see Ministry. Is Sepultura and the Arise? They're on their Arise tour.
You say it better.
And I was so upset because I went with some friends that they were in a big rush to get there. I was in a huge rush to get there, and because of them, I missed it. And low key, they're still not forgiven in my book, because I mean, I've seen them. I've seen the band afterwards, but I wanted to see them. Arise is my favorite album off them. So to me, that was insane.
Tony, was that at the time called the Glen Helen Blockbuster Pavilion for the No More Tours?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that was it was, I believe correctly, it was wow, I'm so sorry, it skipped my name. If I don't think about it, it'll come to me. It's one of those places that keep changing their names, so it throws me off. The Universal City Walk. They had the theater there,
Right.
whatever at that time that theater was called. It
Okay.
was there at University City. But now they keep changing all the names, and that was like I think in 93, 94. This was a long time ago, so my memory isn't sharp in that for that era. But yeah. So, anyways, that's that one piece of artwork, and black and white ones are really fun to do because I could get those done probably about a day, and they're very forgiving, and I don't have to work with value so much, and I like the looseness of that style.
You know, a funny thing about that, I do have a shirt from the No More Tours tour in '97, just to show it to people, saying this is when he said he was going to quit.
Yeah.
And then someone went, "Hey Ozzy, are you out of money? I'm out of money. You need more drugs? Yeah, I need more drugs.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go."
Kiss does that. I mean, all sorts of groups have done that over the years.
I love the live TV show. What was it? The Osbournes.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
Yeah, that was an awesome show, man.
Yeah. So this one was
this is beautiful. This is beautiful.
Thank you. That's a watercolor piece, and this is for. Okay, so I do a lot of festivals. I do a lot of live art festivals, and some of my friends I only see once a year, maybe twice a year, if I'm lucky. And so these are the moments when you're walking through, and then all of a sudden you bump into that person you haven't seen in a long time, and you love them very much. And then when you guys get together, you give a big hug, and it's more of an embrace than like a hug because you haven't seen them so long, and you're just pouring all your love into that individual. That's what that painting represents. It represents all these beautiful, beautiful human beings that I know and love, and I don't ever get to see or talk to as much. But when I do get to see them, they definitely get a good hug from me, and so that's what kind of that painting represents.
I can confirm that, actually.
What was it?
He said he can confirm that.
I can confirm that, yeah.
You know, this guy is so elated to see his friend, he doesn't notice he's been fused to the ground.
Yeah. Well, because that person's, a lot of times I feel everybody's holding on to a burden. Everybody is always going on through something. And it's not until you get a really good hug from somebody that loves you that, you can't fake the funk on a hug. Like, I can tell how much somebody likes me or doesn't like me by the hug. Or the lack thereof.
Yes.
And I think a hug's extremely powerful. I know it's helped me through some dark times, and I know I've helped others through some dark times with it. So, hugs are more important than a wave or a handshake. I feel sometimes.
I agree. My grandpa was the worst hugger in the world.
Oh yeah, my family, my grandparents, like my mom, my dad, I think I hug so well because I wish they would have done that when I was growing up. They definitely. I never really came from a very affectionate family, to a degree. I was always loved. Don't get me wrong, but like my dad's side, we're all like very touchy feely, loud. We just get very boisterous and very excited and very affectionate, and then on the other side is not really like that. And it's very interesting to go from both worlds. I know you feel kind of sad, like, oh, this one feels so good, and this one's like,
That's like my dad's side of the family. We're like, I love you, Grandpa. He's like, I like you too.
Yeah.
And then you go in for a hug, and you'd kind of get like this upper chest.
Comfortable. Yeah. They give somebody a hug and they pull like their whole body away from you. You're like, I just bump at that point.
Guys, I can personally relate. Like during quarantine right now, I'm like, somebody touch me, please.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's truly what I miss the most. And I was blessed to have a grandmother, my father's mother, who would always, I have a twin sister, and she would just always hug us so tight.
Oh,
always she would always hug us so tight. And it's funny you say that because, and I remember my grandfather, I come from in that regard, an affectionate family in that regard. Like not, I'm a grown up now, so I don't remember how many times I sat in someone's lap, but it's funny you mentioned that because that is important. And even now, like hugs, like you say, we all are carrying these deep, whatever we're carrying. There are wounds that we are all carrying that maybe, if you haven't released stuff, but yes,
right.
hugs, great image.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, if you look at this one, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is just the beauty of, like, this is what God of War was trying to do.
Oh,
Yes.
so this was for a band called Job for a Cowboy.
Oh,
And yeah, so my buddy Al Glassman, he was in Goratory, or still is in Goratory. He was a guitar player for Job for a Cowboy. And I guess the other artists that they were using prior bailed out on him, took the money or something and just bailed out and never finished what he was supposed to do.
Wow.
And so they hit me up. I was like, oh, absolutely. I'd love to work with you guys. You guys are a big band. Plus, your music is really cool. And plus, I love Al Glassman. I just love that man. Anything that guy does, I'm just a big fan of. So the concept of it was this was going to be their last album. And so it had a kind of take bits and pieces, I guess, from what they were trying to explain to me, that the cow skull that's facing all the chaos is kind of like the ending of it, and then it's going to morph into it's kind of like a I don't know, like space or some other dimension. So that's why that's is there on the left hand side, so that the being is going to eventually evolve into something else.
Yeah, it's a great blend into a nebula right there. That's a really good, like the water into a nebula with some steam coming out here or something.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
It's almost like a ritual. It's like, they're almost done with all the chaos and stuff going on.
And it looks like they didn't go with the normal pentagram here, huh? They went with a different kind of thing here.
Oh yeah, me with the whole pentagram thing, I think a lot of people don't really understand what the pentagram truly represents. So I don't view it as the devil. The pentagram represents man. If you invert it, represents woman. So that's what that is. If you want to, bring it back to the beginning. So, but that symbol is a chaos symbol. It's blended in with other chaos symbols throughout different cultures and stuff. So I just blended it all together. Wow. So if it's its own symbol as opposed to because if you start throwing around the pentagram, I think it's cheaply done. Everybody does it for the scare. I mean, I'm a grown man. I'm not really scared of a symbol. I guess if you're a little kid, maybe it's the boogeyman, but age scares me more than like a fictitious horn guy. Growing old, that's what's scary. So this is just this was just and I was just trying to help them. So my thing with clients, I'm trying to help them to my best ability to then use my talents for their vision. So things, sometimes things get lost in translation, but I think they were happy with it. I was happy with it. Yeah, thank you. Great band. The album too. It's not to be biased because of the cover, but definitely my favorite album off those guys.
As Sergio Wolf says, that's a great job for a cowboy album transition point with their sound. So
Sergio's absolutely 100% correct. But once again, it's my opinion. Everybody's got their own opinions. We can talk about albums and the bands, and I'm not here to throw any shade on people's love for something at all. And so a lot of the stuff, the third eye work is my personal work. A lot of the characters with the energy shooting out, that's all my personal work. And then over time, certain bands like that personal work more so than the blood and guts, and so I get to infuse the two. So this one was dedicated to my grandmother. She was my very, 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 very special human being. One of the most special human beings to me, and she was the first one to go. Out of all the people the first death I've ever experienced in a family member was my grandmother. Wow! And it was it was extremely, to this day, it's extremely difficult. Miss that woman all the time. Just a beautiful, amazing. I can't say enough great things about that woman. But so when she passed away, each one of those other characters is to remind me that there's other people that love me as well. So not to have it completely shatter my life. Just, thankful that I had it for so long. Thankful that I had a great grandmother to help me become hopefully a decent human being. And so, so that's what that represents. So, so you are not alone. So it's the
personal question, Tony. How young were you? And I always say, I never say how old. I have a thing about it. So you'll always hear me say, how young were you when your grandmother made her transition?
I was in early 30s. Okay. I was in my early 30s. Yeah. So my son's going to be 10. And so she passed away about a year or two right before him being born. And of sadly, bladder cancer, smoking cigarettes, but everybody's got a vice, and she was a good woman, and that's the only thing that really made it. Cigarettes made her happy, and you can't live forever. And I'm not saying I condone people smoking cigarettes or whatever, but I understand life is tough. And if you need something to knock an edge off,
right?
I'm not here to judge.
Yeah. Beautiful image. I don't know which image Dan's gonna pull up, but I'm so in love with like the two next to it, the kneeling woman, and then next to that with the kind of the halo and the I don't know.
Oh yeah, so the woman next to it is titled "Silence is Golden," and it's dedicated to all you wonderful ladies out there, because there's too much. You guys have too much of distraction. I feel like there's too much pressure on women in general on so many different levels. I think it's unfair. I think you guys are a lot of women are held to such a high standards that's it's almost impossible to even reach unless you're on some sort of you won the genetic lottery or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I donated, or a lot of the ones with women involved with it. Like I was raised by my grandmother, my mom, and I have a younger sister, and so I have women. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of you ladies. I'm on your side for sure. And so this was called Silence is Golden. I just think most women just need to unplug from everything and sit with themselves and realize how amazing, special, and incredible each one of you guys are. And thank you for even putting up with all the madness that you guys are constantly getting, bombarded with. And a lot of things, even guys don't know what other guys do to you ladies. It's ridiculous. I have a lot of female friends. Then I'll read some of their posts, and it's quite disgusting how men treat women, I feel, at times. So
that's what my wife says. Yeah, my wife says that. Yeah.
Can we?
You're horrible.
Can we see it a little bigger? Can we see it
sure.
A little bigger. Just it's
It's that's the one over to the right. It's the golden. She's kneeling down.
Oh, I'm sorry. I went to the wrong one. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's all.
The one here.
Second, yeah.
Oh, I hope Facebook doesn't get mad with the beauty. I should say beauty.
Yeah, now they'll have their. What's funny is that I have illustrations with like babies being mutilated and people being mutilated and women being mutilated and stuff like that. And only thing that ever gets, which I never have an issue with it, right? I share this and that, but if there's a God forbid it be a nipple, then you're gonna get flagged. You're like, that's so bizarre to me. It's
America's backwards, man.
It's so bizarre to me. You're like, but we all have them. I don't even see the. We just got to grow up, man. We just
we blew up. We I remember back at the Janet Jackson thing on the Super Bowl, and everybody freaked out at a nipple. I go, didn't you just see Law and Order?
Yeah, just look in the mirror. Don't. But my thing is like, just look in the mirror. See, I once again being an artist. Especially someone that had to study the figure, and I went to I've been doing figure drawing classes when I was like in high school. We were trained to see the human body as something beautiful, as something to study, as something to respect. And I personally feel like more people should have way more people should have figure drawing classes. Just to get it out of you, just get whatever BS thing you have inside that you're caught up about nudity. because after a while, you're not even looking. You don't even care about the person's being naked. You're trying to capture them, and that's one of the most difficult things to do as an artist. So
Yeah.
I mean, I got lucky on that aspect to it because it's a beautiful thing. You know, I don't know why people are shaming it. You know,
Well, you do a great job, and you do it justice. I got a question, Tony. Do you wanna continue staying on for the rest of the show tonight?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
And for the rest of it, and help us chime in and
No,
some
absolutely.
other things.
Yeah.
Everybody, make sure if you love this artwork that you definitely go to his website at
Right
Sketch
there
the
on the
Soul,
Thanks,
and
guys.
make sure that you are helping support artists in this time because they're stuck at home making everything they make.
Yeah, making art. We're making a heck of a lot of art.
Yes.
Yeah. Go to that website, show Tony
Yeah.
some love.
Yeah, and I appreciate you guys doing this. This is really cool.
No problem.